excessively censored by YouTube and SPLC. This channel has been known to trigger leftists and trolls alike. Proceed with extreme caution. You have been warned.
Yeah, Mike, Aurora cops say they got the initial call at about 2:45 this afternoon. We're technically on the west side of the mall, the 225 side. Take you up high in the sky for some Skyfox video of the police and a security reaction to this shooting here inside the mall. Now, according to the public information officer, it was at least one shot fired involving three different people. Those three folks were quickly captured, but not before it created a whole lot of panic inside the mall. A number of folks were actually detained for their safety before those three individuals were found. We actually talked to a couple guys who were in the mall near that JCPenney.
The gentleman takes out a gun and just starts shooting and stuff, and then everybody starts scattering, the stores start closing and stuff, and then they take us into the explicit store, and the gentleman that had shot the gun, they run and stuff, and then yeah, they just locked us in.
They were locked in for a short amount of time and then were released after those three folks were found. Three individuals, two of the three injured, one with a minor injury, the second with some sort of a graze injury, a bullet graze injury. Again, at this point, Aurora police want to reassure the public that all three folks are accounted for. They're not looking for any sort of active shooter. And perhaps you can tell behind us here the number of vehicles that the mall is open for business. They're crediting teamwork between cops and security as well as surveillance cameras for bringing resolution to this case. Outside the town center at Aurora, Greg Nieto, Fox 31.
I've seen everybody start running and pushing people, grabbing people and pulling them in the buildings and stuff.
John Geiger says he heard 3 shots around 2 a.m. in 5 Points and then chaos.
It was very terrifying. I was really scared. I didn't know who was going to get hit, who had the gun. It was just crazy.
The Columbia Police Department investigating a shooting that injured 3 young men. According to police, officers heard the initial shots and then found 2 of the victims on Green Street. They then found the 3rd victim on Green and Pavilion Streets. Authorities say all 3 victims are in their early 20s.
We are unaware of anything that happened earlier in the night that led to this. This seemed to be isolated to potentially something that occurred as the bars were letting out between one person, and we can't even say at this point whether the victims that were struck were intended targets or not.
The Columbia PD released these surveillance photos on Sunday. Shortly after, authorities say all 4 men turned themselves in. The CPD has now arrested 1 man in connection with the case.
Yeah, we were scared. We met up at we called each of our friends that was staying in the group with us talking. We met up at one location, checked to see if everybody was okay. Everybody was crying and terrified. So it was, we were just shielded by God. That's all.
Now, 22-year-old Arthur Jones has been charged with 3 counts of attempted murder and will be held at Alvin S. Glenn. Jones is scheduled for a bond hearing at 9 a.m. Monday. Meanwhile, Chief Holbrook still urges anyone who may have taken photos or videos during the incident or know anything about the men in the photo or the case to call Crime Stoppers at 1-888-CRIME-SC. In studio, Sharon Hayes, Watch Fox News.
A series of random drive-by shootings have Atlanta police searching for answers. Good evening, I'm Sine Simpson.
And I'm Tom Haynes. Police are looking for the gunman they say has shot at least 3 innocent people in the last month. One of those victims was shot in the head but managed to survive.
Well, tonight, in a story you'll only see here on Fox 5, our reporter Angelique Proctor talked with that victim. She joins us now live from APD headquarters. And Angelique, this must have been absolutely terrifying.
Sine, it is hard to imagine being shot in the head, but Sylvester Dixon says he is 61 years old, and that's exactly what happened to him. Now, he says he suffers from emphysema and has other health care challenges. That's why he says he was so amazed that he survived this shooting. Sylvester Dixon says he dove for cover the moment he heard that rapid gunfire on Joseph Boone Boulevard. But the 61-year-old was shot in the head anyway. as he walked to the neighborhood pack and sack store. Atlanta police showed us surveillance video of the actual shooting.
They just riding back shooting. I'm just innocent bystander. You know, I don't know what's going on.
Atlanta police tell us Dixon and a second man were both innocent bystanders when they were shot March 6th. Police say surveillance video actually shows the men firing on the right of your screen. The video reveals 3 men were in the black Lexus ES300 and have been tied to another shooting on the same street 3 days earlier.
A total of 3 individuals were shot.
That's pretty serious.
It's very serious, and we're glad that no one else was injured because there were a lot of bystanders.
Oh, how great.
Mr. Dixon says he doesn't feel safe walking Boone Boulevard anymore and relies on his daily scripture reading to give him strength. He says an inch more and he could have been killed. He worries now about the next shooting.
You got little children running around out there too. Suppose one of them gets shot.
Now, Atlanta police say they need the public's help too. Their hope is that these people are caught before they strike again. Live from downtown, Angelique Proctor, Fox 5 News.
Jasmine Henderson ducked down in the back of a squad car on her way to Rockingham County Jail. The Bronx woman is charged with second-degree attempted murder. Police say she approached a housekeeper in a third-floor hallway just before 10 a.m. Friday, asked her to clean her room.
Ms. Henderson then attacked the house cleaner with a pair of scissors, stabbing her several times in the face, stabbing her in the neck, and stabbing her several times in the chest.
The 58-year-old housekeeper managed to run for help. Henderson was detained by staffers in the lobby until police could take her into custody.
The suspect appeared to be suffering some type of mental health crisis or was having some type of delusion at the time.
Police say the 32-year-old New Yorker checked into the hotel last night without a reservation. It's not clear why she had traveled to New Hampshire. The housekeeper is still hospitalized, but she is expected to survive. Jasmine Henderson will be in court on Monday. Police believe there is no further danger to the public. We're live in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. I'm Mary Salata, WCVB News Center 5.
A grisly discovery after a wife and mother returns home to her apartment here in the Riverdale Towers on Thetford Avenue in Brooklyn and finds 4 members of her family dead. Her 1-year-old granddaughter, the baby's 27-year-old father, her 57-year-old husband, and their 16-year-old son, all shot in the head and face.
We do not have a motive for this incident, but we are working very hard to establish one. I can say this: a firearm has been recovered inside the apartment, along with bullets and shell casings.
A source tells Pix 11 it appears the 27-year-old Terrence Briggs snapped around 5 Tuesday morning after arguing with his stepfather, Lloyd Drain Jr. Briggs allegedly turns a gun on the entire family, then on himself.
I'm just numb. I'm just numb to the utmost numb. This is heartbreaking. I couldn't imagine. I just can't.
Briggs and his baby girl, Lele, were found in one bedroom, his 16-year-old stepbrother in another, and Drain's body was found in a bathroom. All day as detectives try to figure out what possibly caused Briggs to take out his family, devastation is sinking in.
Certainly this is a very depraved person, to kill an entire family, including an infant.
New at 5, friends of a Mount Pleasant family are still in shock over the chilling deaths of 4 people this weekend. Sheriff deputies arrested a member of the victim's family. 22-year-old Laquan Scott is charged with 4 counts of murder in the apparent beating deaths. 72-year-old Joseph Manigault, his wife 69-year-old Rose, 42-year-old Kenya Manigault, and 15-year-old Faith Manigault were all killed Saturday morning. ABC News 4's Bill Burr spoke with 2 people who knew one of the victims. He joins us live. Bill?
Ashley, James B. Edwards Elementary School is part of the fabric of Mount Pleasant. Those who've either taught here or attended it are grieving the loss of a man who worked inside and a person who also took care of the building, as well as everyone in this area. He was affectionately known as Mr. Joe. 72-year-old Joseph Manigault spent years as the head custodian and later a day porter at James B. Edwards Elementary School. Investigators say Manigault was one of 4 family members who was beaten to death on Saturday morning. A former principal told us Mr. Joe was a valued member of the school family who did everything he could to help students and teachers.
He was the ultimate example of do unto others as you would have them do to you. I mean, it was like anything anybody needed, he was there. Which is also one of the things that just makes this so incomprehensible is just that he was just always so positive and friendly. And
Jake Rambo told us he was a student at James B. Edwards when Manigault worked there. Years later, Rambo would become the principal. He said after Manigault retired, he still worked at the school part-time so he could help out. That's how much he loved working at this school. Now, coming up on ABC News 4 at 6 o'clock, learn about the special recognition given to Joe Manigault here at the school, and also hear from another former student who offers a touching remembrance of a man who was loved by a lot of people. Working for you in Mount Pleasant, Bill Burr, ABC News 4.
Lazy ass nigga. You lazy ass nigga.
Special thanks to GP Videos contributors, Chocolate Platinum's Freak Show and T. Martin.
And as always, thank you for watching. If you like this video, please consider subscribing. Also follow us on the usual media for more interesting information like this.
Channel moderators are Jershax and Michael Thomas. Thanks for your diligence and dedication.
Fight their asses.